What's up, everybody? My name is Gabe, and this is
Off-brand Ryan Walker. This is Gunner, and we are the Kings of Second Street.
We have been working on this podcast for a long time now. Just a side note, if you are thinking about starting a podcast, really inform yourself on all the obstacles you may face.
It is extremely hard. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. A couple failed attempts. I think that had built a lot of character for us moving forward with the pod. So,
it did. I mean, we've been talking about this pod for about a year, pretty much. First half of the year was buying equipment, essentially, because we had no idea what it took to start a pod. So we were just buying the equipment that was needed, and it turns out that it's a lot more than you would expect. And then on top of that, the last 6 months have been, now what? How do we use the equipment that we bought? You know, we're Gen Z, but we're not really tech savvy, and so it's trying to learn how to use all the softwares and everything. And it's just, there's a lot that goes into it. But a couple failed attempts, like he said, but now we're here, we're ready. Let's get this journey underway, man.
Exactly.
I'm excited.
Welcome to the kingdom.
Yeah, welcome to the kingdom. A little bit about who we are. Like I said, my name is Gunner. The reason why I said I look like off-brand Ryan Walker is because, man, today with this Giants hat too, and the flow that I got going on, you know, it's off-brand Ryan Walker day. I have public speaking experience. So does Gabe. We both did speech and debate, both orators. We both do broadcasting for SF State. We're students there, and we get some good opportunities. Gabe's called a bunch of things like basketball, wrestling, baseball. This semester I called baseball, softball, but this upcoming semester I'm going to join you with like the basketball, wrestling, and all that. As for what teams I'm a fan of, I am a fan of, contractually, I am a fan of the San Francisco Giants. I work for the San Francisco Giants. And also the A's ripped my heart out of my chest when John Fisher did what he did. And I'm going to talk about that more later. But, yeah, so contractually a Giants fan. However, if another team did ever want to pay me to be their broadcaster, hey, I'm game. I don't care what team it is, okay? I'm also a Raiders fan. Used to have season tickets there. Sitting in section 124. My dad had tickets. My family had tickets. That was always our thing. I'm a Trailblazers fan. I know that's controversial because I live in the Bay Area, but I don't know. I couldn't get behind the whole, like, the city vibe when I was a kid because they didn't have, like, the town jerseys or the Bay jerseys. They only had, like, the city. And I was like, man, y'all don't even play in San Francisco. But now they do, but, you know, whatever. I saw it coming, so I jumped off the ship pretty early. I also didn't just watch basketball that much as a kid. I didn't start watching until I was, like, 12. By that time, Damian Lillard had my heart. Welcome home, King. And and then I'm also like a San Jose Sharks fan. They suck though. Although, you know, the future looks brighter.
The future is teal.
Future is teal. Yes, baby. Let's go. Quick pop quiz. What's the head coach of the San Jose Sharks?
Ryan Swarovski.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know if I pronounced the last name right, but
I don't. I think it's Swarovski.
Swarovski.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put that in there.
You know what though? It's good. NBC Universal would be proud.
Shout out.
Yeah, throw it over to Gabe. What do you got?
Okay, like you said, it's public speaking experience. Been at SF State for one semester longer than he has, so that's why I got the opportunities. And it was also important that I had got in touch with the athletic director early on, because that kind of allowed me to build a relationship earlier in the year, and then use that to announce a ton of different sports, which I'm very thankful to be able to do so. We'll touch a little bit more on the state of San Francisco athletics in a little while. But yeah, grew up in the East Bay, and since my parents grew up in San Francisco, I ended up being a fan of all those teams. So San Francisco 49ers, Giants, Warriors, just by geographical. And then the San Jose Sharks, which, you know, I feel like we had a lot of, you know, good years in the 2010s, and enter the rebuilding phase, not so much something that I followed. But in the last couple of years, you know, seeing that we've drafted a generational player And Macklin Celebrini, I, have to follow them because they're ultimately my teams at the end of the day. And 21 years old, attending SF State, entering my senior year. Gonna start an internship with NBC Sports Bay Area, which will be a nice opportunity for me. And we'll do a lot more announcing work this year. Apparently we'll get opportunities to do duo work with announcing. So
yeah, I hope so. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
That's definitely something that we were lacking a lot of.
The solo broadcast.
You got the Oakland Roots in there now.
Oakland
San Francisco Bay FC, that's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Bay FC. You got the Valkyries. Although I don't know if you saw the Portland Fire. They just got announced as the next WNBA expansion team. Bro, I don't know, man. I might have to keep my basketball allegiances in Portland because, dude, the Portland Fire logo is amazing.
It's nice.
It's a rose, but it's on fire. We'll throw it up on screen. Watch.
All right.
But yeah, anyway, our vision for this podcast. Obviously, we're called Kings of 2nd Street. By no way is that a prideful thing of us being kings at all. But it's more just the fact that the San Francisco Giants, they play on King Street, and then it touches 3rd Street and 2nd Street. And 2nd and King is a gate at Oracle Park. And so I figured naturally I work there. You're a Giants fan. I'm contractually a Giants fan. I think it's fun to be the Kings of 2nd Street. One thing that we really want to work on is have an emphasis on teams that just don't get talked about a whole lot. I know that, at least for me, and probably a lot of people out there, we're tired of hearing about the Yankees on a daily basis, hearing about the Dodgers on a daily basis, hearing about the Dallas Cowboys on a daily basis, the Lakers, right? You name it. All these teams that just always get media attention, because they have big markets and they're controversial, and so people talk about them a lot. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, who's talking about the Tampa Bay Rays? Guess what? We are. Yeah. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Rays on this podcast, right? So that's what I'm talking about. We want to emphasize teams. If you have a team out there that's not getting talked about, I don't know what the limitation should be. It doesn't matter. No limitation. If you have a team that is underappreciated, it's a D2 university, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about some D2 universities. I mean, SF State's a D2 university. We're going to talk about some D1 universities, though, like our boy Kaz over at UCSB later. But yeah, so that's what we want to do. And super importantly, too, is we really want to create an environment that is not arguing, right? We'll have our hot takes here and there, but I really don't want to have a podcast centered around who's going to be the most controversial. This is never going to be a screaming match between me and Gabe, like Skip and Shannon, right? That's not what we're going for. Stephen A., Skip, Shannon, they're good at what they do. That's not this, though, because I'm just tired of that kind of media outlet. It's not the game at all. I mean, if you turn on ESPN, you're going to hear all these dudes argue all the time. I don't want that, right? I appreciate, MLB Network. I don't know if you watch MLB Network, but they have, they actually give you the rundown.
Dive deep into stats, look at different players around the league, show them appreciation, for sure.
Exactly,
yeah.
And it's really deep diving into it. I also want this to be a place where people can learn if you don't know that much about the game. I think a lot of times you jump into a podcast or some sort of media outlet and people are talking about, what the heck OPS plus is, and you're like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what WAR is, right? And people just throw it over here and it goes right over your head, and you lose interest because you don't know what it means. So, we're going to throw out stats, and it might go over your head, but we're going to try to make an effort at least to make sure that people are following along. Right?
Try to be interactive, too.
Yeah,
if you guys have questions, please throw them in the comments. We'll try to answer them on the following pods and whatnot. So, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. All right, well, jump into this quick recap of events recently. Let's see, the Giants won a series against the Mets. That's
big in New York
because we are Giants fans. But at the end of the day, they have been notoriously bad. So that's, I don't know. Is their season over?
Nobody can say right now.
Probably. I'm going to say probably.
Yeah, probably. But, it's who doesn't want to have some hope, You invested a lot in this team, and you just hope that they can show you results. We're beating the Pirates 4-3 right now. Hopefully they can close that out. Earlier, though. It was 4-1.
Ugh. Yikes. Anyway, let's see what else happened. The Yankees got swept by the Marlins. That was huge.
They're playing some hot baseball. You want to know who got them started on this roll? San Francisco Giants.
Oh my god!
I think we got swept by them in Miami.
We did. But
but
yeah, shout out Kyle Stowers, dude, player of the month. unreal performances recently.
It's crazy.
Augustine Ramirez, shout out, love that fantasy pickup for me in fantasy baseball. He's been lights out behind the dish.
Catcher. Okay, yeah.
I think his splits are better. Like, I think he's a better hitter when he doesn't catch. I think he's a better hitter when he DHs.
Okay.
But he's still 23, and so they don't want him to DH yet.
Yeah.
Because once you DH full time, then it's like, we kind of gave up on your defense, and I don't want him to like feel like that.
You lose a lot of value.
Yeah,
as a
you know,
player.
because confidence goes a long way. But yeah, so he's been lights out. Let's see, Speedway Classic was underway. That's going to be our first topic of the day because, yeah, let's just jump into it. Was it the Speedway Classic? Like, first thoughts.
Just terrible management, really. That's like the one thing I can think of is like how they tried to, in the interest of the MLB, they tried to push it as deep into the night and try to see if they could get the game going, ultimately deciding to play the next day. But I feel like the entire allure to it was you were going to have two fireballing right-handers go head-to-head in Bristol, Tennessee. And what you ended up getting was a bullpen game. But, hey, Eli White.
2 bombs. Only player to ever hit a homer in Tennessee in a Major League Baseball game. That's pretty impressive, you know. That's going to be a crazy bar trivia answer like 20 years from now. Who was the first player to ever hit a, anyway. But yeah, so for those unaware, the Speedway Classic was a game set up the Cincinnati Reds versus the Atlanta Braves. I think technically the Braves were the home team. Yeah, because they were playing in Truist Park before that. And so the MLB thought of this great idea. And honestly, I have to give it is a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
They built a baseball field in the middle of a NASCAR track in Bristol's Speedway, Bristol, Tennessee. And it was supposed to be like the most attended baseball game of all time. They were expecting like 90,000 people in the seats. It was really cool, like concept. We've seen the MLB do kind of cool little games that haven't been done before in new locations in the past few years. We had Field of Dreams, which, bro, that first Field of Dreams with the Tim Anderson walk-off, that was his peak moment of his career.
Yeah, it went downhill really quickly after that.
But, hey, I love Tim Anderson. That walk-off, I remember watching that live, and I was like, wow, this is because it was back and forth between the Yankees. And then the White Sox pulled it out in that bottom ninth. And then I think they had a Field of Dreams again with different teams. I don't remember exactly who it was. We had the London games.
The Giants play there?
No, we played in. We played in Birmingham.
Yeah,
we had the Birmingham game with the Giants and
Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yeah. The old throwback, like Negro League teams.
Yeah, San Francisco
really cool.
Seals, I think.
Yeah, and then they played in, of course, London, and like I said, and they've also been playing in like Korea and Japan. So yeah, they're branching out. And they're doing new exciting things, and the Speedway Classic was supposed to be another, example of that. And what was really cool too is like I love the jerseys, right? Adding like flames on the Atlanta Braves hat was so cool, and the checkered like print on the Reds cap, the helmet, all of it was so cool. And of course, the home run car. Whenever they hit a home run, they did a lap around the racetrack. That's so cool.
Great concept.
The reason why it wasn't successful is because on Saturday, the day it was supposed to get played, it was pouring rain, dumping rain, and I mean it went deep in the night. It was East Coast, and eventually the game went underway, even though it was still dumping. No one thought it should have started.
Yeah.
And even the announcers, when I was listening to it, said if this was any other game, it wouldn't have started. But they started it, and you can pull up the highlights. The first inning is just like the puddles in the infield, and this field is not being used very often because it's like put up for that, so it's like turf outfield. It's so bad. You can't have that much water on like a turf field. Yeah. You can't even have that much water on a regular field. You shouldn't be playing in the rain like that. And yet they tried. I think they got through exactly one inning, and then they had to cancel it and postpone it. They had to postpone it to the next day. And the next day, it was still exciting, but you definitely lose a lot of that like allure, like you were saying, because
they played it in the morning too, when it was supposed to be like a mid-afternoon game wherever they were at.
Well, it was a 7 p.m. start time, Eastern time.
Okay, yeah, it was a nighttime game.
So it's supposed to be nighttime, exciting, and then the next day they started at like 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Eastern. It's like, and that's over here. It's like 10 a.m. I'm like, dude, I got church right now, man. I can't watch the Speedway Classic, and so yeah, it was rough execution, but I think it could have really been better. you can't control the weather. I get it.
No,
But
you can't.
the one knock that I will say is like they should not have started it.
No, absolutely not. And I feel like I hope it doesn't negatively impact their thought process going forward, because like I think the concept's really cool. They should look to go to different stadiums and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, imagine all the fans in Tennessee that live nearby that were able to go to the game. I'm sure they were super grateful.
Yeah, they don't have a
I
team.
heard the ticket prices were a little absurd, especially when you saw how far people were sitting away from the action.
Yeah, they should try new bigger stadiums. That'd be fun. I mean,
Bigger venues.
imagine like U of M, like the big house in Michigan. Oh my gosh, because I think it's the largest capacity stadium in America.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine like 110,000 fans for a baseball game?
I could.
That'd be so
That'd be
epic.
sick.
That'd be so awesome. I would love to see that, but I don't know if they're ever gonna do that. But yeah, I think they'll do it again. I don't think this is their only time trying it, because I don't think anyone was happy with the result of it being rained.
Yeah, even the fans who got $2 pregame beers. I saw the things were like filled up with empty beer cans, and then
I
they
think it was
ran
at
out
the
of
Guardians
concessions. Really?
Yeah, I don't think that was at the
That wasn't at the Speedway Classic?
No, I think it was the Guardians game. But shout out those Guardians fans.
Shout
they got
out to
through
the
a lot of
Guardians
beer.
fans. They blew through quite a bit of beer.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot was lost, but you know, the Speedway Classic specifically, they lost all concessions for that second day, just because it was going for so long. People had bought them all up, so they allowed people to go to like gas stations and stuff and get products to bring in the game. That's why I'm saying like the allure. You know, you go to a baseball game, you get a hot dog. You go to Bristol Speedway to get dumped on, and
Yeah,
and
it was
see a game.
it was rough. I think they'll try it again with some, better. I don't know. You can't control the weather, but they'll try it again.
some better anticipation on the weather for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna have a special moment right now. This is our recognized player of the day, and this one's pretty cool. Our recognized player of the day is Darrell Evans. And the reason why I said it's so cool is this bat right here is Darrell Evans' bat. It says it right there. It's inscribed at the head of the Louisville. Look at that. Darrell Evans' bat. That's pretty cool. Darrell Evans, he played 21 seasons in the MLB, which is, wow, that's ridiculous.
That's remarkable.
That's remarkable. I don't think you could ever do that again.
Do we have a date on that bat? Is that etched
No,
anywhere
it's
in there?
not. But you got this when he was with the Giants. So
Dated, so.
that was between was it 76 to 84,
Yeah.
83, 76 to 83. Darrell Evans was with the Giants. He played for the Braves, the Giants, the Tigers. Finished off his career with the Braves again. He won the World Series with the Tigers over the Padres in '84. A little fun piece of information on that. Pete Rose's mom, of all people, accidentally revealed that Pete Rose was gambling on baseball on that game. On that series. If you look at the book Pete Rose: An American Dilemma, it says it in there. It says that a local Cincinnati news journalist was doing an article on Pete Rose, and when talking to his mom in Florida, found out that his mom said, "Oh yeah, Pete Rose lost a bunch of money on the series last year." So yeah, his mom ratted him out.
Giants lost, by the way.
Yeah, that's...
I wanted to look up Darrell Evans' stats because
That
I
figures.
did see that he ended his career with the Braves. Was
Yeah,
it
he
like
did.
a
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
1-year
pull it up.
contract? Yeah, it was. He
Yeah,
actually
pull it up.
played 107 games that last year. Good
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, Darrell Evans. I mean, he had a 58.7 WAR. He's got 414 homers all time, 248 batting average. He has 98 stolen bases. He had a 3.61 on base percentage. I think that should not be discounted because, people will look like you saw the Jeff Passan thing that they were talking about where he was like rattling off with that old MLB player about, batting average isn't as important anymore. I don't know. It was a whole bunch of back and forth. But at the end of the day, on-base percentage probably is more important than batting average because you're finding a lot of ways to get on besides just getting a hit. Yeah, he had a 792 career OPS and an OPS plus of 119. So better than average. He's in the Giants Wall of Fame, which is really cool. So
414 career home runs. Nothing to...
yeah, no. This guy, 21
Sleep
years. 20 years. That's amazing in itself. 21 years, won a series. shout out Darrell Evans. Thank you for the bat. Thank you for leaving a legacy in the MLB.
58.7 WAR. All
Yeah.
right, this guy's not a Hall of Pretty Gooder.
Hey, 21. Yeah, he's not. He's not a Hall of Pretty Gooder. 21 career seasons. That's why.
Hey, you know.
I think what sucks about Darrell Evans being like where his stats are, he can't be in the Hall of Pretty Good.
Yeah.
But he also probably won't be in the Hall of Fame. He's in that like weird category right in the middle of like you're not
Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, Hall of Very Good. There you go. You're Hall of Very Good. Shout out Darrell Evans.
So that's kind of where I'd put those guys that are above the WAR threshold.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, 2-time All-Star, and he was the American League home run leader in '85. So won a World Series and then immediately just started raking.
And a career OPS plus of 119.
Yeah,
like that's
better
really
than
good.
average. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, so shout out Darrell Evans.
Shout out. Oh yeah, a little I guess tidbit on that is my dad used to be a bat boy for the Giants, so we'll have some bats for you guys to check out, for us to check out too.
Let's learn more about some players. You know, some that may be lost to time.
Players, yeah.
You know, but we're gonna resurrect their legacy. I said earlier that we would be talking about the Tampa Bay Rays on this podcast, and I meant that because we're talking about them right now. For those that don't know, Tampa Bay got hit by a hurricane in, what was it, March? I think it was March.
Yes, I believe so.
It was the off season for baseball, but the Tampa Bay region got hit with a horrible hurricane, and it did significant damage to the area. It also did significant damage to the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium, Tropicana Field. It literally tore the roof off of the entire place, which, you know, put the Rays in a really hard situation because the Rays were already lined up to get a new stadium in technically not Tampa Bay. It's St. Petersburg. It's just Tampa Bay adjacent, but it's like there's only one way in, one way out through a bridge on St. Petersburg, which is why people have wanted for years them to go back to Tampa Bay. But they were planning to get a new stadium in St. Petersburg, and yet, according to the Tampa Bay Times, that's now dead because the repairs for the Tropicana Field roof is just too expensive, and the city of St. Petersburg basically decided you can't have both. And they're playing in a minor league stadium right now. They're playing in the New York Yankees minor league.
Outside Minor Field.
Yeah, they're playing in a minor league stadium right now, and they want to get back as soon as possible. They can't play long term at the minor league stadium, right? So they don't want to extend it past this year, I think. So if the Trop's ready by next year, that's where they'll be. But yeah, no new stadium for them. The reason why this comes at a really odd time, besides the fact that there is Tropicana Field was going to be, you know, eventually demolished and they were going to have a new stadium in St. Petersburg. What makes it even more complex is that the team is planning on selling the team
to Principality
to Patrick Zapolsky. He's apparently a Tampa Bay real estate agent, like high real estate, and he is a Tampa Bay native and he wants to move the team. He said at least he wants to move the team back to Tampa Bay. This comes at such a weird point though because they have to fix the Trop. And they don't want to play there forever though. But St. Petersburg is going to want to get their money back for paying for the Trop. And so the Rays are going to have to play in St. Petersburg for the next 10 years at minimum. So
yeah,
if you're expecting the Tampa Bay Rays to get a new stadium or move to Tampa Bay, or I doubt that if the sale does go through in Principality, it will. I don't think Zapolsky will move the team out of Tampa Bay because he is a Tampa Bay native. But you never know. He could. I mean, how many people showed up for the Speedway Classic? Nashville, Tennessee probably would love a baseball team.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I know they have the AAA team, the Nashville Sounds. I'm not sure what their attendance looks like, but for a major league team, I mean, why not? That makes sense. But I'm not rooting for them to leave. I'd rather expand. I think. Because you know, as an A's fan being brought up, and a Raiders fan seeing your teams leave is painful. And so, yeah, I hope the Rays can actually get back to Tampa Bay at some point, but it's not going to be in the next foreseeable future. It's going to probably be minimum a decade. It's unfortunate, but
furthermore, you know,
what's up with these Florida teams?
Florida baseball, really. And, you know, you look at the NCAA, Florida State's not by any stretch the word a bad team. If anything, they're very successful. Their fan base is almost, I'd say their fan base is more loyal than either the Marlins or Rays, because I mean people go crazy over their college ball.
Yeah.
Especially Florida State got deep roots. Shout out Buster Posey, greatest president of baseball operations in Giants history. Just putting it out there, speaking it into existence.
Yeah, and then you also have the U. You have Miami.
U of Miami,
and they roll deep. Right?
Yeah.
The Heat are super popular. The Dolphins are super popular.
Tampa Bay Lightning,
go Boats. They're super popular. And Florida Panthers, they're super popular. It's
Florida
like every like other franchise, the Buccaneers, super popular. Every franchise in Florida is successful because Florida is a great place to be as a franchise. And yet Miami and like the Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays are just like, what's going on? Now the Tampa Bay Rays, I'm not going to say they're not successful because they do put a pretty good product on the field. But it's not like they're signing like big guys. They're not like getting big names for it.
They have solid homegrown talent, but they're not.
But at the end of the day, they're just like the A's of the East, right? Where they just, and same with the Marlins kind of. They just like raise up these talent and they send them off. I mean, think about it. You had all these big name guys just leave, bro. Like I mean, like especially with the Marlins, I could do a 3-hour rant on just the Marlins situation and their ownership.
Yeah.
It actually is one of the most frustrating things in sports. Because how do you not have a successful team in Miami, Florida? Not just like the product on the field. How do you not have a successful organization in Miami, Florida? That is ridiculous to me. I mean, I think a good example of this, we've talked about it before, is the LA Angels are little brother to the Dodgers. Like everybody knows that. The Dodgers are the more popular team. However, the Angels fans still run deep. There's still a lot of Angel fans out there. And they're little brother to a team. Miami has one baseball team. They're a big market with a lot of tourism. Those seats should be filled up. Now, recently they were against the Yankees. How much was that was the Yankees fans? Historically, though, the fans haven't been packing the stadium. The best place to start is keep Stowers. Don't trade him away. Keep Ramirez. Don't trade him away. Keep your guys, Xavier Edwards, right? Hey, I kind of like the move of not getting rid of Sandy. Because I think that it shows like, hey, maybe we are willing to keep on to guys. But at the end of the day, it's I don't know how you don't have a successful franchise down there. But yeah, hopefully the Tampa Bay Rays situation gets figured out. It's kind of sucks that they have to go back to the Trop. I know I probably can't request this. My one plea with the Tampa Bay Rays rebuilding Tropicana, do not make the roof white again, please. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Tropicana Field roof is white. The baseball is white. You can't see the freaking ball. That's, oh my gosh. And then, of course, the catwalks are like super low. And so you end up like hitting the catwalk all the time. It happened all the time. People would hit a ball and then players would just
lose it.
No idea.
A ground rule double or a foul ball?
I think it's technically a ground rule double, which is so frustrating as a hitter.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it could have been gone. And as a defender, you're like pissed off too because you're like, I could have caught that.
Could have caught it, yeah.
So nobody's happy about that. But anyway, fix the roof.
Fix everything.
Man, jumping into another. I touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the Tampa Bay Rays situation, but do I just jump into it right now?
Go ahead. I don't really have much else to say on Florida ball. Hopefully that improves soon.
All right. So, like I said, I grew up an A's fan. And I kid you not, I came home from the hospital in an A's onesie. My sister came home in a Raiders one because she was born in October. I was born in March. And so growing up, going to A's games, tailgating in B-Lot at the Coliseum, going to Raider games. I mean, it was like my town. It was, I didn't live in Oakland, but it was like my dad was from there. My family was from there. And being a part of it, I was like, I feel like I was from there. Like, obviously, I'm not going to go around the streets of, people here would take my head off for saying I'm from Oakland. I'm not from Oakland. But, that was a big part of my childhood. And then looking at what's happened recently with the A's is just so frustrating. To kind of contextualize everything that's happened with the A's, essentially the A's went up for sale from the Walter Haas family in 2005, and they were eventually bought out by Lou Wolf and John Fisher. They were a duo partnership that bought the A's. However, they should not have been able to buy the A's, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, because they did not have the highest bid. Not even close. Bill Gates and Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson is a Hall of Famer, and Bill Gates is like the most richest man on the planet Earth. They had a partnership in place to buy the Oakland A's in 2005. And they didn't. Because of why? Oh, also, Warriors owner, what's his name?
Oh, you're making me blank here.
Pop quiz.
I'll have to look it up now.
Wow.
You've
Wow, we're going to edit this out. Or maybe we won't. It'll just be really uncomfortable silence.
No. I think as long as I'm blabbering while I look it up, Joe Lacob.
Joe Lacob, that's the name I was looking for. Joe Lacob had an offer in 2005, and Joe Lacob also has a standing offer now. He said he still has it out there. It's been here the whole time. They had higher bids than Lou Wolf and John Fisher, and they're great. I mean, come on. Who doesn't give a baseball team to Reggie Jackson and Bill Gates? Dude, Oakland could have had Microsoft Park. Oh, that would have been the most state-of-the-art park of all time.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd have been really cool. We could have had our own like version of like Fenway, like the Green Monster. It could have been like the Xbox wall or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It would have been so cool to have, and yet we didn't get that because the commissioner of the MLB at the time, Bud Selig, he gave the Oakland A's to Lou Wolf and John Fisher because Bud Selig was college like roommates with Lou Wolf. That's cronyism, bro. Actually cronyism. That's ridiculous. You should like that to this day frustrates me. Anyway, John Fisher and Lou Wolf buy the team. They own it for a while. Team not successful. Surprise. Had moments here and there, but never. It was all money ball still. They never did anything buying big acquisitions, signing big guys. They traded all away our key pieces. Yeah, it was the bread and butter of the A's. Build them up in the farm, trade them away. Lou Wolf eventually got tired of John Fisher, at least that's my assumption, and sold the rest of the team to John Fisher, so he became the sole owner. I think it was like 2014, 2015. And then John Fisher decided to build the stadium how many times? Like 7? He tried to build a stadium like 7 times. Fremont, San Jose, Oakland like 3 times. And he could never get it done. There was literally signs like, welcome to Fremont A's, welcome to San Jose A's, never done. And then he like, okay, we're going to try again. So coming like 2018, he started like the whole rooted in Oakland. We're staying in Oakland. We're going to build a stadium in Jack London Square. It's going to be amazing. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. Why? Not because of the city of Oakland. People commonly say that misconception. I won't say the city of Oakland was ran exceptionally well, but this was a failure by John Fisher. Because John Fisher, with like a week to the signing of the like, okay, well, this is official. Because the agreement was the A's would pay for the stadium. It was going to be $1 billion, and the city of Oakland would pay for the surrounding infrastructure, which was like $380 million or something like that. And they said, here you go. That's the agreement. If you do that, we will sign. The city of Oakland raised more than $380 million. They raised over $400 million for the infrastructure, and they were like, okay, we did it. Now let's sign. And they set up a date to sign. John Fisher backed out a week before the day. Said we're moving to Vegas on a whim. Had nothing in place, no plan. We're moving to Vegas. Ridiculous. And then the MLB was like, okay, that's fine. We vote on that. Yeah, that's fine. No plan in place. He goes to the city of Vegas in the state of Nevada. Hey, give us money to build the stadium. People go, no, dude, we just lost so much money with the Raiders. We're not doing that again. Please, 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 please. That's John Fisher. Please. Oh, my God, please. I don't want to spend my own money that I worked so hard for. Even though I'm the heir of Gap. I'm the heir of Fisher Investments. I worked so hard for it. You know how many hotels in San Francisco me and Lou Wolf bought together? Anyway, they decided, yeah, we'll give you money. Ridiculous. And he said, okay, it's going to be $1 billion. We're going to fund a lot of it ourselves too, but we just need about like $200 million from City of Vegas, and we'll be fine. Flash forward to right now. John Fisher Stadium, not built. They're playing in a minor league ballpark in Sacramento where it's 110 degrees every day.
And they don't want to declare what city they're from. They have the Oakland patch on one shoulder and the Sacramento patch on the other.
Do they have the Oakland patch? I don't even know if they have the Oakland patch. They have the Vegas patch.
Oh, they have the Vegas patch on one, Sacramento on the other, and they're just the Athletics.
They're just the Athletics. And then, like I said, John Fisher, it's going to be $1 billion stadium. What happens? This, as of like August 4th, 2025, John Fisher has publicly said that it's already over like $2 billion. That's how much it's going to cost. $2 billion. The Raiders stadium was not $2 billion.
That better be the most state-of-the-art.
It's not going to be. You know why? Because it's on 9 acres of land. And it's going to have 30,000 seats. That's the smallest ballpark by a country mile.
$2 billion.
$2 billion for the smallest ballpark.
For the ballpark itself, or for like surrounding infrastructure?
I think all of it. But there's not that much surrounding infrastructure because you're on 9 acres of land.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So did they just like try to stick it right in the middle of the strip, wherever they could?
Yeah. They tore down the Tropicana Hotel, and that's now the new spot for it. You know why the Tropicana could be there? Because hotels build up.
Yeah.
Baseball builds out.
Yeah.
You can't put a baseball field on 9 acres of land. It's impossible.
Where's parking? Yeah, you got a lot of...
There's no parking. You don't get any parking. There's not any parking at the Raider Stadium.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's just the way it is now. No parking. You don't get to go. You have to like shuttle.
Yeah, that's why Vegas is not the move for sports teams. I mean, how is the
Knights are phenomenal.
The Knights setup is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they have I don't think they have parking.
Oh.
But the Knights in general are super popular amongst Vegas because they're a homegrown team.
Yeah,
they're an expansion team.
Expansion team is how you want to go about it.
I will say they also very much did like get a lot of bandwagon because in their first year they went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Oh yeah,
that will do it for you. Okay.
Hey.
Let's just say the A's don't have a history of being good. I mean, that's not true. The A's have a history of being good. The A's don't have a history of being good with John Fisher as the owner. And so, and the people of Vegas know that. Man, they started a whole movement to pay their teachers more instead of the stadium. It was like schools over stadiums. That's what it was called, I believe.
Yeah, schools before stadiums or something.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous that everybody's like, this is such a bad move. And the MLB's like, I don't know, maybe it'll work out. Right? It'll work out. No, John Fisher is a con artist.
Yeah.
John Fisher took money from the MLB every year. It's called revenue sharing. Basically, bigger markets, they get more money because they have more people go to their games, and so they sign better talent. In order to not create a imbalance of like talent, because if they didn't have this, the Dodgers and the Yankees would sign everybody. The Cleveland Guardians would get nobody. The Cincinnati Reds would get nobody. Right? The Miami Marlins wouldn't get anybody. So instead, what they do is they do revenue sharing. So that like the MLB itself as an entity makes a certain amount of money, and they give that money to teams. They give this money to the teams, and that allows them to like compete. The problem is John Fisher doesn't spend that money on the team. He keeps it. He's literally stealing the money. He keeps it. And the MLB was getting in. They put a discipline on him almost, I guess, because they didn't like punish him, but they put like a in principle discipline that if you don't start spending this revenue sharing, we're not going to give it to you. What does he do? He signs like a pretty decent reliever, like pitcher. He signs Luis Severino to like the biggest contract in A's history. Does he deserve it? No.
He's been horrible, right?
Well, no. I won't say Severino's been horrible. Severino has been horrible in the minor league stadium. His road splits are actually really good.
Oh, okay.
He's so much better on the road because he's not pitching in a minor league stadium.
Yeah.
But and it's the same for all the other A's pitchers too. Like Jacob Lopez is on a tear when he's on the road, but at home it's like bombs away.
That's unfortunate, but the offense is doing well.
Well, yeah, because they play in a minor league stadium. But even away, they're doing pretty good too.
I'm glad they didn't trade Rooker or anybody that would have been like long term. I know that they ended up trading Miller, but you know, with the return you got on it, it was kind of
they haven't done it yet. But at the end of the day, John Fisher he needs to sell the team. If the A's ever somehow, I don't think it'll happen, but if the A's ever somehow come back to Oakland, I will be an A's fan again. Yeah. But where it stands right now, John Fisher is the worst owner in sports history.
Okay.
More than Art Modell, which is saying a lot. He's worse than like any other owner I've ever heard. I don't know if you know who Art Modell is.
I've heard of him.
He was the old Cleveland Browns owner before they left to Baltimore. He pulled the biggest... Here's a history lesson for everybody. Art Modell pulled like the biggest fastball on... Not even a fastball. He pulled like the biggest scheme against the city of Cleveland. He got the city of Cleveland to build him a stadium, and midway through building the stadium, he goes, "We're moving to Baltimore." And the city of Cleveland went, "What?" Midway through building the stadium, "We're moving to Baltimore." No way.
Wasted a bunch of money.
And the NFL was like, "Okay, sounds good." And so they moved the Browns. But the city of Cleveland sued Art Modell because they were like, "Dude, you can't up and leave after we're building the stadium."
Yeah.
So they won the suit, which got them to keep the naming rights to the Browns. So the team still left, became the Baltimore Ravens, and then 3 years later won the Super Bowl, which pisses Browns fans off because it was essentially all Browns players that went to Baltimore and then won the Super Bowl. But then in 99, in 99 the Browns came back as the Browns. They didn't exist for like 3 years.
Is that an expansion team at the time?
They were. They came in with the Panthers, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that sounds right because the Jags were 95. Yeah, they came in with the Panthers or the Texans.
Probably Texans.
No, Texans were 2002.
Oh.
I think we had a 31 team for a while. I think the Panthers came in 2000 or 99 with. I think they came in 99 with the Browns, and then that was 31.
How did the league system work then?
I don't know. NHL did that the other year too. I mean, they had the Pacific League was like completely
uneven.
And then we added another Pacific team, which is hysterical. But they just redrew the lines because they added the Seattle Kraken after they added the Vegas Knights, because the Vegas Knights were just an expansion by themselves. So it was off balance. It was 31, and then they added the Kraken. Yeah. Anyway, that's my rant for John Fisher and the A's and why I am a contractual Giants fan. Also, I'm a contractual Giants fan because they pay me. They pay me. I love my job. It's nothing flashy, just ballpark operations, but I love my job. And yeah, it's pretty fun to be in that stadium a lot. It's the most beautiful stadium in baseball, I'll tell you that. Someone who grew up going to the Coliseum, it's the most beautiful stadium in baseball. It's Oracle Park. I've been talking for a while, so I'm gonna let Gabe dish out some stuff real quick. And we're changing the subject a little bit, but we're gonna focus on a team that actually decided to stay in the Bay. And I mentioned the owner's name a little while ago, Joe Lacob. Gabe, tell me, why is Kuminga staying with the Warriors?
I think it's just a lack of the Warriors wanting to trade him. I think that I don't know. It's really weird because I want to say that they're invested in him, but also when you think back historically, the kind of the whole reason why he's been upset is because he's felt that we haven't been invested in him. So I wouldn't call it a change of tune as much as it is like. I mean, it is a change of tune, but that results as us seeing him play a lot of ball in the playoffs. So shout out to him. He really balled out. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough, I guess, surrounding pieces for us to push forward, especially without Curry. But I think that he can very much play within the team. But kind of speaking on why it is that he's staying, I think that going into the offseason, the Warriors were going to look at some options as far as moving him, but I don't think any of them really blew them away the way that they would want it to. And I think that Kuminga commands a lot, although, he hasn't had a lot of, on-court production to show for it. He's definitely played a ton of good basketball, and more recently so. So Warriors not really getting any offers. I saw a couple, ones that I might think of, from the Suns. But ultimately, I think they see a future with him in the offense, and they weren't seeing enough offers, and there wasn't really just a willingness to trade him in the first place. It was always going to be try and figure things out first. And I think we are so deep into the offseason at this point that trying to move him wouldn't provide much value, because the entire thing is you move him, you have enough cap space to sign a big. Looking across the league right now, is there really anybody that like is worth signing?
Well, there might have been.
There might have been.
But they're not anymore.
Not anymore, exactly. So I think that where they're currently at, they kind of just had to hunker down and say, we're going to figure this thing out with you. And I can't say I'm mad at it. I mean, I'm upset that we wasted as much time as we did, because there are potentially a couple guys on the market that would have fit the scheme. But, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, shot yourself in the foot a little bit, because it's like,
you did.
Oh, we're not making any moves until this happens, and then it didn't happen. And now you have no moves to show for.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, at the end of the day, the West is deep. Are you going to be able to compete? Like,
we'll see.
Who knows?
Curry's talked about not wanting to retire anytime soon, so I think as long as he's on the court, you know, we always have a chance. But I would really like to see another guard. I know Pajemski's. It's hard. He had a tough run in the playoffs. He's shown that he can play good ball. It's just, you know. And I got spoiled, you know. I watched Clay be like the perfect 2 to Steph. So it's kind of hard to see somebody replace that production, that value. So looking at Pajemski's struggle, it's kind of like, oh, you know, I want somebody who can back up Steph, because it felt like whenever Steph was not on, then Clay was going to be there backing him up, providing the point production that we needed. So maybe it is Kuminga. So we'll have to see, but Curry's going to have to get over his idea that Kuminga and Butler can't be on the court at the same time, where that scheme doesn't work, because I think, you know, there's one game where he had like tried out 12 different rotations before like halfway through the second quarter. So you can't tell me that having Kuminga and Butler on the court won't work if you're willing to try that many combinations of players.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I thought Kuminga was gone, quite frankly, just because there was too much drama around it. So the fact they're like, all right, he's staying, it's like, okay.
I think it's different. I think
everybody's time.
Kuminga's beef is with the organization. I think if we're looking inside the locker room,
that's valid.
I think the relationships with the players is probably perfectly fine. I think it might be just like more organizational, more like with the coaches beef. But I'm sure Curry's talked to him quite a bit.
Yeah, you got good leadership in that locker room.
Great leadership in the locker room. So we'll see how that pans out. No, absolutely not. You won't ever, especially adding Jimmy to the locker room. I feel like that's a good voice. Especially for a younger Kuminga, because his play style is a little bit more comparable to than Curry's is. So
you know who you guys could have got, but you didn't? Damian Lillard. That's my GOAT right there. I love Damian Lillard, man. He's the reason why I watch basketball, to be honest. Now, when he left to the Bucks, I didn't follow him. I'm not a bandwagon. No offense to Cash Nasty, but I'm not like that. You know, I stayed with the Blazers. They sucked. I think they're always going to suck as long as Chauncey Billups is head coach, but they just extended him, so I hope that I'm wrong.
Do you know why they did that, by the way? Is there just...
Dude, honestly, I think they just believe in the young talent being brought up kind of like the Thunder. And the best way to do that is to keep your coach.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get rid of your coach, and then this coach comes in, and he's like, I don't have any attachment to any of these players, and so I don't care. I can trade them, blah, 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 blah. Now, our front office is not the greatest, and so it's, you know, who knows. But I think we're on the up and up. The West is too hard to really say. I would love to just even be in a play-in game. That would be nice. We haven't made the playoffs or the play-in. We haven't even made a play-in game in like 5 years. This team sucks.
That's tough.
Yeah,
not even making a play.
Dude, Terry Stotts was our head coach for 8 years. 8 for 8 made the playoffs. Made the Western Conference Finals. Now, we never won I'm in baseball mode. We never won the finals, but I think a large point of that is because you had to deal with like the Warriors and the Rockets and the Thunder and every other team that was good at the time. Mostly the Warriors. But yeah, I think we're on the up and up. Dame's back. Hanson Young, my big tariff. I love that guy. Have you guys seen this guy play basketball? Oh my gosh. Look up Hanson Young highlights. There is a 3-minute or something. So
3 minutes.
they only play like 10 games in the summer league, by the way, which is just like rookie development. They only play like 10 games or so. There's a 3-minute highlight reel of just Hanson Young's passes.
Straight dimes.
All dimes. This kid's unbelievable. I'm just imagining like crazy pick and rolls with Hanson Young and Damian Lillard, and then the passing that he can do with like to let it out to Scoot, who can drive, or Shaden Sharp, who's like the best dunker in basketball. Dude.
Yeah.
That I'm looking forward to it.
Dame's a good signing for you.
They might not be contenders. And by might not, they're definitely not going to be contenders. However, they will be more exciting to watch. And that's all I care about at the end of the day. I hate when I turn on a game of any type and you're like, wow, my team stinks. And they're not even fun about it. Like, at least currently, like the A's and the Giants, it's like, okay, they kind of suck, but they're kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Right? The Marlins, they're 500, but they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Then you have some teams where you're like, man, this seems just, oh my God. Like, I feel for you guys, like White Sox fans or Rockies fans. How do you turn on the game, bro? Did you see the Rockies had that many people in attendance for a Pirates series?
How many?
They had like over 30,000 people in attendance for a game against the Pirates.
Was it Skeens pitching?
I don't think so. But what's crazy about it is that it's just like
Too bad.
both
teams.
of these teams are so bad. The Rockies are the worst team we've ever seen in MLB history. And they have 30,000 people showing up.
So the bad team classic.
I love that for you guys.
Honestly,
Although I
that's
hate
great.
that all of you guys are Broncos fans. Moving on to something a little bit more personal. Let's talk about San Francisco State. We, like we mentioned earlier, we both do broadcasts for San Francisco State sports. Unfortunately, we don't know what that's going to entail for us in the future because San Francisco State has cut a lot of their sports teams, including baseball. I think it was men's soccer, women's indoor track and field. I think there was maybe one or two more.
Yeah.
If you're looking at other schools around California, Sonoma State, they cut every single one of their sports programs. They have 0 now. And it was because California gives out a budget every year of how much they get to give to schools. And every school, every Cal State University and every UC was in a deficit. Now, some of them are going to have bigger challenges than others, including SF State and Sonoma State, because we don't have the Berkeley alumni. We don't have the UCLA alumni. But cutting the teams sucks.
Yeah.
Not just for us. Like, even it does suck for us from a personal note. It really sucks for these players. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have a lot of friends.
We have a lot of friends.
We have a lot of friends that play college
sports.
ball, and there's so much more to it besides just wanting to be like a professional ball player. There's the aspect of like, I have someone every day who motivates me to be a better person. I have someone who pushes me to go past what I think I can do. I have a mentor in my life. Some have a father figure that they don't have at home. There's so much more to it.
Teammates, camaraderie.
Right? It's a good outlet too. There's a lot of people that might be doing bad things. I mean, I came from an area where, I mean, I don't even know what half my football team was up to nowadays. But like when I was playing ball with these guys, they were playing ball when they could have been out on the street doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Now they're doing good stuff because, you know, they had an outlet. They had people that cared in them and invested in them. And especially in college when you're like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, you have someone to guide you through that. Right? And so I've always said it sucks so much that sports and music and art have always been like the top 3 things to get cut.
Yeah.
Because those are the outlets. Those are the like where people express themselves fully with what they have. Right? I mean, there are people, but nobody goes into college like, man, I can't wait to grind out essays today. No, but you might be able to be like, hey, I got to get that essay done, but guess what I get to do afterwards? I get to go play, you know, my instrument. I get to go hit balls on the field. Like, that's what people look for. And so it's depressing, honestly, losing these sports.
Yeah, 100%. Like closing off all these creative outlets for people. I feel like, you know, a lot of the hype behind certain majors kind of gets saturated out after a while, especially like computer engineering. But I touched a bit on it last time we were talking about it, but like computer engineering gets like very saturated. The field is like super hard to find jobs. So when you leave like these creative options open, like art, like music, like sports, it allows people to explore their different interests. And when you cut a lot of these programs, when it just happens to be the first thing you decide to cut, you're taking away a lot of opportunities and a lot of the, I guess, desire for people to want to go to college. So I think, boo, bad idea. And yeah, as announcers, Gunnar already talked about, how tough that is for players to lose those opportunities, getting a scholarship to go to a school that is losing either your sport or the entire athletic program altogether. Yeah, that blows. You thought you had a future, and then now it's getting taken out from underneath your feet. And then, as announcers, not to be selfish at all, but like looking at our perspective, as somebody who is an aspiring broadcaster, decided to come to SF State because I knew how good the broadcasting program was. And the fact that there's multiple different sports, with that getting cut back, I can only think of, while I'll still be taken care of for my next couple of semesters at SF State, what does that mean for people going forward? Are the broadcasters going to have the same opportunities that we had? So, it's really unfortunate, but hopefully something could be done soon for
I mean there's probably broadcasters that were at Sonoma State. And then they're like, all right, I guess I just don't get to do my job anymore. Like, yeah, I know they're not like, high level guys, but it's like, hey, this is where you get your experience.
Yeah.
And Sonoma State might be the only school that you get to go to, right? You might not live closer to any other school, and now you're just like, I don't get to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It really does. And as a ball player too, or any sport for that matter, just losing that opportunity, you're like, dude, what do I do now? Because man, we know firsthand what can come out of the college system, right? I mean, you want to talk about some real, like, I know UC Santa Barbara, they got a little bit nicer than SF State and Sonoma State.
Yeah.
But they're not like Berkeley or Cal, right? But they put a lot of talent out there. Talk to them about Tyler.
So Tyler Bremner, a bit of a shock in the recent draft. Not so surprisingly to me, I knew how much talent he had as I was following the UC Santa Barbara baseball team throughout this season. We have a friend that I'll talk a little bit about. But back to Bremner, the guy had a rough stretch to start the season, so I could see how he fell down the draft boards a bit. But as we got towards the end of the season, he really settled down, started throwing some quality innings, and you could really start to see like where you could imagine him in the draft. I saw a lot of just kind of checking out pre-draft. I saw a lot of people talking about like ESPN had him ranked like 18th. He was set to go to like the Mariners. No, not Mariners. I think it was Guardians or something. It was like 18th pick, so a little bit down the draft board. And a shocking move, which, I'm glad for him. He gets to stay in California. SoCal is where he's from. Angels select him second overall, which is a shock to a lot of people because Cade Anderson, the LSU left-hander, was on the board. He ultimately goes 3, but Bremner, a product of California baseball, UCSB to be specific. I think this kind of just speaks a lot to the quality of where California ball's at. We have a lot of kids getting drafted every year, and to have a homegrown talent like Bremner go second overall, they say he's probably one of the most MLB ready players in the draft. I think that's really cool. Speaks a lot to how our programs are producing, and
there's a lot of talent in California for baseball, at least. I know there's a lot of talent in California in general, but there's a lot of talent in California for baseball that you could find at like these smaller schools, right? Like at a Sonoma State or at SF State. I mean, we grew up in a town that's not very the largest, and there's 2 little league baseball leagues in this little town. There's countless baseball leagues, little leagues all over the place. Travel ball runs abundantly in the Bay and all throughout California. And a lot of these guys, because there's so much overabundance of talent, they want to stay home. They don't get to go to like the UCLAs or the Santa Barbaras or the USCs or Stanfords. And so they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take my opportunity, maybe go JUCO, but then maybe go to SF State, maybe go Cal State, East Bay, Fresno State. Right? We got some real dogs over there. Shout out my boy Alzillian at Fresno State, by the way. Best cornerback in college football.
Shout out.
But yeah, so it's like there's some real dogs that grow up in this talent. I mean, Alzillian too. He could have, if he wanted to, he could have got scholarship in baseball. He was just that much of a dog at football. He chose not to. And then of course our buddy Kaz. Speak on what Kaz is doing right now.
Cole Kosciuszko, shout out. Same class as us. He is getting ready to enter his final year at UCSB. So hopefully the season goes well. But he played a little summer ball over on the East Coast, Madison, Wisconsin.
I think it's technically Midwest.
It was in the Northwoods League, which is actually very prestigious. The Mallards specifically, Pete Alonso, played for them, and like guys like Nico Horner, Marcus Simeon, couple names that ended up playing in the Northwoods League. And it's like honestly a really cool experience because you are going and traveling around the Great Lakes and you're going to these different spots. You're playing on a daily basis, so it really emulates what an MLB season is like. And I know, like, because I talk to Cole pretty regularly, it's a grind for sure. But speaking on his performance, he batted just under 300, and I know for him it was really important using that to kind of sharpen his instincts, sharpen his stance, really get in a position where he's ready to get into the college season. But last week when we were trying to film one of our pod episodes, he, unbeknownst to me until he sent me the clip of the what had happened, but he had a walk-off home run.
Dude, he hit
a
bomb, dude. He pimped it, too.
It was a all-time bat flip, in my opinion. Just the way he went about it.
Yeah,
it was very natural.
go to like Madison Mallard's like social media. Check it out. That dude, Cole Kosciuszko's like walk-off pimp job was amazing. And yeah, dude, shout out Cole. I think he's doing big things.
Yeah, in my opinion, Northwoods League Play of the Year. Shout out Cole. He's doing a great job. Ready to go into the fall. They'll be doing like little scrimmages with UCSB. So I'll be giving updates on that. Just keeping it up with Cole. Hopefully we can have him on for a little interview on one of these podcasts.
I believe it'll happen. He's just, not the closest right now. This next part of the podcast, I'm really excited about. This is the first ever edition of Gabe in the Cage. What? Yeah. So for those that don't know, Gabe is, man, you might be the most nerdy UFC fan I've ever met. And I respect the hell out of you for it because there's a level of insight that I don't have even remotely close in any sport. So Gabe is insanely passionate about the UFC. And so this segment is completely based off of his ability to talk about that. What's happened in the UFC world?
All right, so let's hop in the cage real quick here. This will be a short little segment where I kind of recap what's going on in the world of the UFC. MMA, if it fits. There's not really a whole lot of huge news around MMA right now. So we can cover the UFC specifically. I think, let me fact check real quick, but I'm pretty sure we have a pay-per-view coming up next weekend, which would be pretty big news. But this past weekend we had Tatsuro Taira versus Park Hyung-sung. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that name right. But a flyweight fight on short notice for Park. He was set to fight Steve Erceg, I believe, next week, but then he decided to bump it up a week early after Taira's opponent backed out, Al-Bazi. Taira, a up-and-coming prospect from Japan. I don't really know what to put on it. The guy's as technically sound as it gets. I think everything, when you think of like fundamentals in like any sport, in my opinion, the best guys are those who could do the fundamentals as efficiently and consistently as possible, and I think that's what Taira has shown. After losing a close decision to Roy Val, the number 2 ranked contender now, you could tell he really sharpened up everything in the first 20 seconds of the fight. Drops Park with an overhand right, and then immediately gets to where he does best, and that's in the grappling world. gets around to submission, gets to the back, applying a lot of pressure, using his transitions, and gets the submission win. Of course, last week we had Rainier DeRitter and Robert Whittaker face off. I touched a bit on it last time, but I forgot what my prediction was. I know I talked up Rainier DeRitter a bit because he's a former champion for another organization. He gets the decision win against Robert Whittaker, which puts him in a nice place for a possible title fight, which we have in 2 weeks. We have Dolidze versus Hernandez this week, which is a middleweight fight, but not important enough for me to touch. I want to jump on to UFC 319 to close up this segment. Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know if you've heard of either of these guys.
Yeah.
But,
Chimaev broke that dude's jaw.
So Robert Whittaker.
I did see that photo, by the way. Don't look up Chimaev breaking that dude's jaw. It was.
If you want to, it's very gruesome. So Chimaev 14-0, undefeated going into this fight, championship fight. Everyone wanted him to get a championship fight. Of course, he couldn't make 170, so moves up to middleweight, breaks Robert Whittaker's jaw. That's gets you right into a title shot against Dricus du Plessis, which I believe this is his 4th defense, if I'm not wrong. So, starting to climb his way up the middleweight greats. But this is no easy test for him. Khamzat Chimaev is obviously a beast when it comes to the grappling game. So, he'll have to fend that off for 5 rounds, see if he can do it. But I think, du Plessis is very capable. The dude is like a tank. A lot of people compare his success to like Looney Tunes. Like, he just happens to pull it off. Piano falling from the roof type of stuff. So, if there's any way to get it done, I feel like du Plessis is going to need to drag it on to the later rounds. That's where Chimaev tends to struggle after he's exerted himself trying to finish you in the first couple rounds. So, in my opinion, I think Chimaev round 3 sub. I think
official prediction.
Official prediction, round 3 sub. I just think he gets to the back. He's going to go for his takedowns. It's hard to deny. I don't know if du Plessis' takedown defense is anywhere near where you'd need it to be in order to stop a guy like Chimaev. So I think Chimaev gets it done, and he will be facing former one champion Rainier DeRitter in his first defense. That's my final prediction. So to close up the first segment of Game in the Cage, we covered a little bit of Tyra versus Park and some Rainier DeRitter, who is going to be the next title challenger after the Khamzat Chimaev Dricus du Plessis fight at UFC 319. Couple weeks, August 16th at 7 p.m.
Congratulations, Chimaev, for your official win.
We'll see.
But, you know what? I don't know enough of myself. My head is so wrapped around other sports and the WWE, which we'll get into eventually. Yeah. We don't have enough time today. But, I don't know. I watch it. I watch the UFC, but I don't keep up like you do. You have an elite knowledge for it. So I'll just back up whatever you say. Chimaev in 3 by sub. So I believe it. I believe it. Anyway, that was Gabe in the Cage. I think that was really cool. I'm excited to hear more about Gabe in the Cage in the future too. Especially, I know there's like some big ones coming up. Like I think, what is it, the October fight?
The October fight. So we actually have. Wait, do we have 2? Yeah, we have 2 October cards. I think one at the beginning of the month, one at the end. So UFC 320, we have Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. You may have heard of Pereira. He's the big Brazilian dude knocking everybody out. So they will go for their second fight. Obviously, Pereira losing his belt the last time out. He said that his hand was broken, the left, which he happens to be the hook that he throws all the time. And so that'll be an interesting fight, see if Alex can fend off those takedowns. And then the co-main event, Bantamweight Championship. So that was the light heavyweight championship in the main event. Co-main Bantamweight Championship, Merab Dvalishvili making his 4th title defense against Corey Sandhagen. So this is a guy who everyone has really wanted to get a title shot for a long time. He's got a lot of merit in the division, a lot of big wins. Most recently just submitting former flyweight champion Davison Figueiredo. So I think Sandhagen, if anybody has the best chance of pulling that off against a guy like Merab, he's probably got it, most technically sound. And then the second card in October heavyweight championship, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Obviously, with John Jones retiring, everybody's been wanting to see Tom Aspinall fight. He gets his first defense at UFC 321 against Cyril Gane. So I think we've got a couple good cards coming up, 319, 320, 321. You'll see all the big boys fighting. And then
we'll have way more Gabe in the cage to bring you that action.
Exactly. So I'm excited to be able to talk about all these different things.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for our first ever episode, huh?
Yeah.
I don't have any more to talk about. I mean, you let me go for hours, I'll go.
100%. And let us know, if that's something that you guys are interested in, longer term videos. We'll bang some stuff out. Obviously, we have so much stuff to talk about. So just let us know in the comments if you like.
Yeah, we talked about this much stuff in a dry season, too.
Yeah, exactly.
No NHL, no NFL. Wow, think about that. NBA, I mean, we only touched on a little bit. Because none of it's happening right now.
So when stuff's happening, I mean.
Well, you know what? You know what the fans can look forward to? Our next episode. If you love the NFL, guess what? Everyone who loves the NFL plays fantasy football. Next episode is going to be fantasy football specific. We're going to deep dive, do a bunch of research so that you don't have to. All you have to do is listen to us. And if you don't win your league, it was his fault. But yeah, so our next episode is going to be fantasy football specific. We're going to bring you a bunch of facts, research, deep dive into what's going on and what you can look forward to for your upcoming draft. We're going to try to get that out as soon as possible because I know that everyone's going to start drafting soon. However, if you draft before the second week of preseason, that's your fault. That's not our fault. I've always been a firm draft right after the last game of preseason. I'll never forget back in 2014, 2015, Tony Romo broke his shoulder in the last game of preseason. And that threw off some drafts. I think Jameis Winston got hurt in a preseason one time, and that threw off some drafts. So I'm all draft right after the last preseason game. Yeah. So if you do that, we'll get an episode out for you, most likely, hopefully.
I think even 2019, Shady McCoy got season-ending injury last week of the preseason. So
I mean, think about it. 2 years ago, they put Josh Jacobs in the Hall of Fame game. Bruh. That guy could have got injured. He could have got injured, and that would have thrown off so many drafts. That was the because the year before it was 2021. Yeah. He was the rushing champion. He led the league in yards, and then
the rushing champion in the Hall of Fame game.
Or maybe it was the second. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when the timetable was. He was the league leader in yards, and then they put him in the Hall of Fame game. Don't draft until the last game of preseason. Anyways, please, if you enjoyed, like and subscribe and follow us on social medias or wherever else we are.
Links in description.
We'll get you more content. If there's anything you want to specifically have us talk about, let us know. Like I said earlier, if there's a team that doesn't get enough representation, bro, tell us. Be like, man, nobody has ever talked about the Yukon Huskies women's volleyball team. Guess what? We might, if you ask us to. Why not?
100%.
The one things we will stay clear of, though, don't ask us to talk about politics. We're not going to. And don't ask us to talk about too controversial things. We'll touch on it, but not too controversial. If it starts to be borderline hateful, no, absolutely not. Yeah. Not going to talk about that. So thank you guys for sticking around with us for this long. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace. Shout out Super K Fortune Cookie by Carry Out Co. in New York. Shout out. Let's see what... This is your fortune, by the way. This is not my fortune. This isn't Gabe's fortune. This is your guys' fortune. All of you watching. Let's see what it says.
I know they say pointing's rude, but I like to point, so I'm going to be pointing at you.
Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to open it. This is embarrassing. Gabe, this is embarrassing.
Go it? Come on.
I got it.
He got it. He's got your fortune right here. Express. Straight from Gunner. Let's see it. Cracking it open right now.
Okay, ready? Ready? This is your fortune, guys. It is necessary. Therefore, it is possible.
That is this podcast.
That's this podcast in a nutshell, dude. Woo! Man, let's go. All right, enjoy the week.
Bye-bye, guys.
Oh, this is stale.
Oh.